Hello everyone, welcome to week number 1 in Bio 120. I'm so happy that you're here. My name is Dr. Janie Sigmon, and if you haven't looked at my bio yet, please go and look at that so that you can figure out what my background is and where I'm coming from and how much I've always loved biology. You will see that during this term, I can promise you that. I'm looking forward to a really great term together. You're going to choose final projects that you're going to work on all term and then finally finalize that in week number 7, and it's going to be on a topic that you're interested in. And I always love seeing these because there's lots of variety in them, and there are lots of different biological hot topics out there in the world today. You can find something that you're interested in, I promise you, and if you can't, I can help you. So with that being said, let's see what we've got going on this first week. Every week I will make a video and I will make a set of announcements for the week that will be published on Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. So you can always look forward to that each and every week. And the reason that you should watch these videos is because I tell you what you need to do. I tell you how you need to do it. I give you tips and tricks and advice on what you should be doing, because sometimes you don't need to read 3 whole chapters in this textbook. You just need to skim certain portions, or formatting can be really important on some of these assignments. Just watch my videos and speed up my videos. I'm Southern, I talk slow, I know that. So anyway, that's a tip right there for you. So let's see what we've got going on this week. Of course, the first chapter is really important in the textbook because it introduces you to the science of biology. Biology is the study of living things, right? You already know that. You took that in grade school. Read the first chapter in the textbook. Our textbook is a free textbook. There it is. There it's the name of it. OpenStax Biology 2nd edition. Free textbook online. You can download the PDF if you want. I have done that. I have not used it, not even the first time, because it is so much easier to use online. You can search for any term that you can think of. If you want to know what ecology is, or what are genes, or what is carbon dioxide, anything. You can search for anything in the textbook. So I suggest that you just use the online version. So read chapter 1 so that you get an idea of what biology is, and you're going to learn some things about organisms. So biology is the study of organisms, right, and life. But we also even have to have a definition of life. So that's going to come up in just a second. Watch the 2 videos and read the article on the giant viruses. That's very important because that article on the giant viruses, or Pandora viruses, is included in your journal entry that is due this week. So what do you have that you need to do this week? You have 2 different assignments. One is your discussion board postings. You have these almost every week in this course. So this first week, your initial discussion board posting is due by Thursday night before midnight. This is real simple. Look at the instructions. Follow the instructions. Make sure you include all of the information. If you don't, you will not get full points for this assignment. Just saying, I have to check for all of this. So first of all, introduce yourself. Tell us what you like to be called. Tell us where you live. Tell us what your family situation is like if you like to share that. Oh, I especially love pets. Include pictures of your pets. I love pets. I love animals. So I like your plants too. You want to show us your garden or your plants? Go for it. Tell us what your hobbies are. Tell us what your career goals are. What is your degree program? Anything like that. Tell us about you so that we can get to know each other and how this course will help you in your new career. This should be 1 or 2 paragraphs. This is not 1 sentence. None of these discussion board posts are 1 sentence long. 1 or 2 paragraphs. Okay, then you're also going to explain why the scientific method is important in biology, the systematic way that we go about doing research to help us figure out all these different ideas in biology. Give an example of how you've used the scientific method in your everyday life. We all have, and we all do every single day. So give us an example. I wrote an initial discussion board post, and you'll find out that I have a brown thumb when it comes to houseplants. I'm a biologist. It's very embarrassing. I have much better luck with animals, thank goodness. Yeah, but I have a bad brown thumb. I overwater absolutely everything. So that's my example of using the scientific method. Then you have 2 response posts to 2 different students in the class that are due by Sunday night before midnight. These have to be unique posts. You can't post the same thing to each of these students. Include what you have in common. You are going to find out that you have many things in common with the other students in the class. If you are an environmental science major, you're going to find other people in our class who are environmental science majors. If you're in the health sciences, you'll find somebody there. It may be where you live. It may be your hobbies. So include what you have in common with these other folks. And share, this is important, share tips and resources for being successful in online learning. You've taken other online classes before, I'm guessing. If you haven't, maybe you just have general tips about how to study, how to time manage, those sorts of things. But share with us some tips and resources for being successful. All of these posts must be substantive. They cannot be superficial. You have to get down to the nitty-gritty and really do some discussion. That's what we're looking for because we're making connections with each other. All right, so those are the discussion board postings. Then you also will complete something called a journal entry. A journal entry is basically an essay. Yep. So you're showing us what you've learned. You're especially showing me what you've learned about a particular topic by writing a journal entry. This one this week is to be or not to be alive. So we're delving into the definition of life. Because isn't that what we're studying? Biology, right? The study of living things. But you have to know what's living before you can study it. So you are going to be discussing this. And there are components to this that you need to include. So be sure and look at the guidelines, which are the instructions for this. Before we move forward, let me say that there are all kinds of definitions for life, even between biologists. There are different ones. I've given you a list here, 8 characteristics that every organism has to possess. There are different lists. So some biologists group some of these together and they come up with 4. And some of them expand them and make 9. It doesn't matter. They're all the same characteristics. They're just grouped differently. So let's quickly go through them. Order. Order is terribly important. Every organism is made up of 1 or more cells. The cell is the basic unit of life, right? It gives the organism its identity. Each and every cell that's in the organism. So there's order to life. Sensitivity and response to stimuli. So whatever's out there in the environment can influence what happens in your organism, whether it's the amount of water or the pH or the light or the soil or whatever it is, the climate, whatever it is that's out there affects your organisms. Reproduction, of course, is tremendously important for life because if you don't have reproduction, then life will cease for that species. Adaptation. So adaptation is characteristics that help an organism survive. Now, adaptations can be behaviors, but they are more likely to be just characteristics to allow you to survive in the environment where you are found, where you are located. Growth and development, terribly important, even for bacterial cells. Bacterial cells are single-celled organisms. yet they grow and develop. They have to grow in size before they can divide or reproduce, right? Otherwise, the cells will get smaller and smaller and smaller with every cell division. So growth and development is very important. Regulation and homeostasis is one of my very favorites. So homeostasis is balance. Balance is tremendously important in life, in all organisms. From the cellular level, if you take out too much water from a cell, if you pull it out by putting salt in the environment, if evaporation happens, you're going to kill the cell, right? You've got to have balance. And balance in every way, in every aspect, the chemicals, the water, the whole environment. This is true all the way up the scale of organizational biology. So ecosystems experience homeostasis. There has to be balance in the environment with the species that are present in order for an ecosystem to stay healthy. Homeostasis is terribly important in our bodies, in our cells, in our ecosystems, in the biosphere. That's the whole component of the earth where you find anything living. Energy processing. All of us who are alive take in food of some sort and turn that into energy molecules, most likely in the form of ATP molecules, adenosine triphosphate. And ATP is like the gasoline that runs all of the biochemistry in your cells. So terribly important. And evolution happens. My definition of evolution is a change in genes in a species over time. Very simple definition. This happens. Organisms have to be able to evolve in order for species to survive on into the future, because we have to be able to change and adapt to environmental conditions because they're always changing. So that's evolution. Those are the properties of life, and you're going to be discussing those. All right. So you have discussion board postings and the journal entry for this week. Next week, you will choose a topic for your final project. So be looking ahead at that, especially the list. Look at the list final project topics. You don't have to choose one of those, but if you choose a different one, you have to get approval by me. My hints and tips and tricks for this week. Watch my videos in the announcements every week, because I will give you information, important information that will help you. Deadlines are important. The only deadline that you have for Thursday is your initial discussion board post every week. Everything else is due by Sunday night before midnight. Everything else, okay? Follow the guidelines and rubrics for each assignment. I already explained that guidelines are instructions. You know what instructions are, right? They tell you how to do something. The rubric is how I grade this particular assignment. So when you look at the rubric, you can see what I'm looking for in each little component of your assignment, whether it's a discussion board post or journal entry or final project milestone. Yeah. Read the feedback that I give. I give feedback. So make sure you read that. This will be tremendously important when you start working on your final project sections. Label everything, all of your files, not just Bio 120 and your name or something. No, be more specific than that. Do you know how much trouble students had in my last term because they were turning in the wrong files, and then they'd be counted late, and some of them didn't even turn in the right file even at the end of the course. So label everything. So the course number, the assignment number, your name, the date would even help. Label all of your files so that you don't get them mixed up. And then finally, it comes to my job. You know, I make the videos here and I explain some of the biology, but I'm also here to guide you through this course. So when in doubt, if you have no clue how to proceed with something, if you have questions that this stuff just doesn't make any sense to you, or you don't know how to do something, all you have to do is ask me, email me, m.sigmon@snhu.edu. My first name is Janie. Everybody calls me Janie, but my legal name is Melody, so that's where the M comes from. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I'm always on my phone, like everybody in the world anymore. And so I'll answer you. I definitely will answer you within 24 hours, but sometimes it's immediately. Please ask me if you need some help. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, and I want to help you. That's why I keep teaching, even though I retired, because I want to help you learn. And I want you to be excited about biology because it's so much fun and just so very interesting. Everything in biology is constantly changing. So I love it, and I hope you will too. When in doubt, if you're in trouble, just ask me for help. Shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to respond to you and help you with as much help as you need. With that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week number 1, and I am looking forward to meeting and getting to know all of you.